Hello, denizens YouTube, and today, as you can see, it's a bit different today. Well, A, I'm using a new recording software, and B, I'm in my closet because a lot of professional YouTube. I've seen a lot of professional YouTubers like they usually like do it in the closet or like stuff. Well, and I mainly do it because just to sound better. So, anyways, this video is going to be like a bit like a sort of unscripted. Like all my videos are a bit unscripted, but yeah, this video will be the most unscripted because this is basically me talking about like why I like comics and why I really like them, and yeah, so like my history with them, and like or maybe start liking comics. Yeah. So yeah, first thing was yeah, my first really exposed to comics was online comics, like mainly like a lot of fandom stuff, like Undertale, Undertale and Cuphead, or all that, and it's mainly like those web comics as well as like comic dubs, the ones from just some people getting around and then just talk and then just voicing over a comic. I still like watch those, but it's more like about like the actual comics you see, stuff like let me get my stuff here. Stuff like these comics, Predator vs Wolverine, Predator vs Black Panther, all that, and also probably some other comics. But yeah, back then I usually just watched like some old well yeah, they're basically old but like old comic dubs are usually stuff like made by fandoms, yeah, mainly like there's this guy I used to like watch a lot. Sorry, there's a that's apologies. There's this guy I used to like watch a lot as a kid whose name was Gabriel Leth, I believe his name was, and yeah, he was. I usually like I always like watched his like comic dubs and stuff. I did like watch some other videos, but I don't remember any of them, and usually it's probably like some other voice actor was in there. So that was really my first like exposure to comics. It was what really made me like them. Just a bunch of different, and it's really made me like them, and also what got me into drawing. Like I'm still in drawing right now, but like I really neglected that part, considering I haven't the last thing I drew was like in middle school, 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, so yeah, basically yeah. So yeah, my drawing isn't the best, but yeah, this is what this video is about. Yeah, and my next exposure to like comics was like sort of like a was like I guess like like sort of like online games, online games. Basically, I remember like I remember there was this we had this iPod, and I don't believe it, and I believe it's like probably like this special like Iron Man Blu-ray DVD thingy, but it was something like that. It was probably just like little special Iron Man Blu-ray DVD thingy, and basically like it gave us this little like motion comic that if I remember correctly, I had like just it's basically like sort of like a recap of Iron Man 2, and I don't know which comic this was. This was either like Iron Man like an Iron Man, well, a DVD this like comic came from. It's like from like either Iron Man like an Iron Man 2 DVD I used to have, or an Iron Man 3 Blu-ray that which I currently have. I forgot which say DVD that little like virtual comic came from. And yeah. And speaking of like comics and Iron Man, this is a I actually have this like old like Iron Man like anime DVD which came with a Doctor Strange comic, and it's actually still in here, and I also have this other Avengers DVD. I'm pretty sure that also had like a comic in it. I probably lost it. It's probably gone. Like a lot of like other like extras from like various other like DVDs I used to have as a kid. But yeah, what? Excuse me. But yeah, yeah. And like since I have no fond memories of, I do have fond memories of me like watching this DVD, but no memories of me like reading the comic itself. That's probably because I wasn't really a big reader at the time. Just yeah, but and then like yeah, and a few years so yeah, like I usually used to like I just watched a lot of stuff and like watch people dub over it, all that jazz. Yeah. And anyways, fast forward a little bit, and now we're in this and now like my parents want me to like read more, I guess probably because I was like I don't know, it's just I don't know for whatever reason, but like I remember like we went to like this place called Half Price Books. It's like pretty close to like where I live, well, me and my parents live, but yeah, basically, all I remember is got some like SpongeBob like books and one comic which was this like Simpsons like comic. I don't remember if it's like an anthology or anything. It probably was like part of a story or something. It's probably like a little one shot story, but based off the Simpsons, and all I could remember about it is that all I could remember about it was that was excuse me. All I could remember about it is basically that basically the Simpsons family are forced to like help Burns into like Mr. Burns into like finds like some ancient treasure or something, and like when I tell you I read that religiously, I do not I am not lying. I read that comic religiously. Like I read so much pages start flying off, and I don't know if that was just me like being like a kid and not being able to handle like much more important stuff and much more important stuff, or if it was just like I was just what you would call it like I was just like really like that comic so much, and I sincerely hope that the old Simpsons comic I used to have wasn't valuable because well, not only is it gone, but even if it's yeah probably lost a bit of value considering how much I read it, you know. Yeah, and like yeah, that's basically like my other like exposure to comics, and I just thought, and in between all that, like I would like watch like all those like top 10 like cool like alternate versions of Marvel characters, top fun facts about different like Marvel stuff, and all that. Like I would sometimes watch like some videos talking about comics and all that, but all that and yeah. But basically, what really deterred me from like not wanting to read comics until now is mainly because like of the whole what you might call it, like this whole universe thing, all that, just how like, oh, you have to read issue one, but you also have to read another issue one, but there's third issue one that you might want to read, but like now that I'm getting into comics, it's pretty easy. Like I have this as you saw here, I have these like comics from like Black Panther and Wolverine, and like trust me, like you don't need like any further like previous context that you would have had like if you watched the first X-Men film or Black Panther film, like and heck, you probably didn't even need to read like any previous like Black Panther comics, considering he wasn't as popular until the MCU. Yeah, and like yeah, and like especially like yeah, and even this Wolverine one, and like basically like you really don't need to read anything before that, or even like watch any of the Predator films. Like it basically gives you the information of like who Black Panther, who like Wolverine, who the Predator is, all that, and also like speaking of like older comics, I also have this like Iron Man comic. If I can get this thing out, this Iron Man comic, which basically is a it's basically is a part of this like little collection of like reprints of like older like superhero of older like col- older collection of like comics. It does have it has it's just I got volume 15, and that's mainly because like and granted, and now this one you may need a little bit of context, but you can get this context from just watching like say a couple of videos on YouTube. Like the comic includes, obviously Iron Man, Tony Stark. It includes this plot line from like I guess a previous like arc about this like stalker lady who like paralyzed him, and but like it also gives you context in that one. Although it says like it does give the little annotations of well to you may have to read previous comics. You don't really need to read the previous comics and all that. Yeah, no. Also, yeah, and also it also includes, Doctor Doom, Hydra, AIM, or AIM, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, yeah, Doctor Doom, AIM, Hydra. It also includes Joe Fixit, which is an alter ego of Hulk. But my bad, I'm pretty bumpy today. Yeah, it also includes Hulk. Joe Fixit, the alter ego of Hulk. So you may need to watch like at least one video. But like piece of the videos, they are like pretty short. I like pretty short, like pretty short. Yeah, there's and also like grant this also includes like a plot line that references a previous plot line about like some like Iron Man and Doctor Doom having to like travel into the future to like help this like wizard and to like prevent like an to like try and stop like something evil happening in the future, and this was like considering this says it's like from like a 90, yeah, from these like one was from 1989 to 1990. This is probably before like the whole 2099 thing like happened. So yeah, like it does like reference like futuristic Doom and Iron Man, but those are like retcon in like Marvel 2099. Or you guess I guess it's I guess it's like not retcon because 2099 is now sort of this like alternate universe thingy, but who knows, comic continuity. Yeah, and that's also like sort of deterred me and a lot of people from in comics. But here's the thing: when people say continuity, they usually refer to superheroes and stuff. Just superheroes in superheroes. DC, Marvel, like I guess some of Image. Some of that stuff. And the funny thing is that a lot of comics I have, like some of them can be like a bit like sort of read on their own, like those Tales of the Crypt. Although this says it's like a Tales of the Crypt, I don't believe it's yeah, it says volume two here. Let me get it. Yeah, even though it says volume two, you don't have to read the previous volume. It's like an anthology. There was also, come on, there was also obviously this classic Viva Vendetta. Viva Vendetta. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Viva Vendetta. Yeah, basically this is also like sort of like its own like a standalone story. In case you're wondering, I haven't like read or seen Watchmen yet. I'm thinking maybe to do it, but yeah, basically I mainly read comics physically, at the moment. Like I mainly read like comics. Like just to give a brief answer, I mainly like read the comics physically and not really any digital comics. So I do have this interest of like say like online web comics, but I prefer if I like there's this YouTuber I watch called Grief. They are talking about like some horror web comics there, and like I would like to read those, but like I would preferably read those physically. And I considering like in the background of some of his vids, he has some little books of physical versions of like some web comics, specifically this one called Everything Is Fine, I believe it's called. Yeah, I would prefer to read that. And yeah, there's a lot of other comics here that I have that just like can be read by their own. There's also The Crow. I also have volume like three of volume three of like Feral. Volume three of Feral, which is funny because you give a brief anecdote. Basically the little comic shop I always go to. They're called Dying Comics. Apologies for the little delay. Has like not sponsored. They shut up posted. They were having like a little sale about about graphic novels, $2 off regular comics. Regular comics. These ones. These regular comics were 75 cents. While graphic novels were like $2 each. $2 each, and obviously, I wanted to go. I went there and like I saw so many like comics that I liked, but they were like in the other volumes. People already got the most early volumes. There was this comic I want to read called Irredeemable. I'm currently watching a video that's sort of like recapping the whole series, and like even though I saw some and even though I got the volume three of Feral before I have got I got the volume three of Feral before I got any of the other volumes. I don't own volume one or two. I don't own any of those, and despite me already despite like some of the earliest ones being like what volume two or something volume two, volume three, and even though I always saw those videos, I was like, nah, I'm not going to buy them. Like I don't know why I did that. So yeah, to continue, basically the whole thing is that yeah, the whole continuity thing is like really about maybe drive away from comics, and also guess like from reading a bit because yeah. So anyways, I was forced to read. Damn, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, basically that's just sort of maybe yeah, this pretty bad book maybe not want to read read as much, and that's basically what made me maybe not want to read a lot and just watch call to well not just watch YouTube. But I don't know, it's just like something like happened. I just start watching more videos of comic Drake, just random videos about like people talking about comics, and just seeing more comic media, and seeing how comics are like pretty easy to get to, especially if you decide to get graphic novels. So when it is so like if you want to get like graphic just regular comics, these ones, these ones, they're there for you. But if you want to get into comics, I recommend getting graphic novels. So they're more expensive, but as I said before, they're more bang for your buck. You get like a whole lot more pages. Like especially if you get say this bad boy, this Judge Red one. This is this is only $20, and look how many pages. Just look how many pages this bitch has. $20 for all that. Yeah. So like, granted, some of these are priced inconsistently. Yeah, like for example, like this one is the same price as the Judge Dredd one, even though it's as you can see, it's a lot less than before. Yeah, my bad. My bad. So yeah, there's that, and also yeah, and also I guess started watching like the wrong crowd. I watched I ended up watching to get political for a bit. I ended up watching some like right wing anti woke grifters. I started watching some of those, and I sort of ignorantly started believing them, and then like I don't know, it's just it's me realizing that they're just spouting like BS and doing all that, and then I just decided wanted to get comics, and and that basically happened like near the end of my high school year. Like I'm a high school graduate, like that's happened near the end of my my senior year, and basically I just found this like little app called found this found out I can like install some comics on like some free comics on like my phone called playbooks this and I basically this is what sort of made me start oh, my butt this is what sort of like me start I made me start reading comics more. Like I just decided to like get this and then read some comics. Yeah, the first they mainly offered like the first issue free. Those killer, the first issues of Philadelphia, Walking Dead. Got some free comic books day stuff. From free comic book day stuff. Nailbiter. The first issue is Nailbiter, Spawn, V Wars, The Black Monday Murders, Manhattan Project, Revival, and Chew. All that stuff. And yeah, yeah, they offer yeah the first issue of all that stuff. And I don't know. I just started like liking those and I started, I don't know, I started to like those, and I kind of wanted to get like more comics, and one day my parents just took me to like the comic store, and that's where I got my first two comics, which is one of them is actually also a manga, which is you already saw one already, which was the V for Vendetta and the and Junji Ito's Frankenstein. Yeah, Junji Ito's Frankenstein. That's also what made me that was also one. Yeah, that's also it's one of my first. Those are my first comics I ever got. God, apologies. The little head is like kind of. So yeah, that was like the first like two comics I ever got. Next time we went there, I got some of the much other big names. I got like what you call it. I got what you call it. I got Spawn. I got Hellboy. I got the Iron Man, the Judge Dredd, Sin City. I got those ones and yeah, but basically, I just wanted to get more and more comics. We went to that sale and I got like and as you saw, and if you saw or not, in my little like Black Panther versus Black Panther and Wolverine versus Predator reviews. Like I got those in like in the sale. I got like 10. I got like 12 graphic novels that day, like in total. Like 10 of them, I got them like at the cheapened price, and two I got like in the and two, which I paid for full, which I got in full price, which was the Predator vs Black Panther one, and this Spawn manga, which I kind of want to do, a review on day before I do the part two of my Judge Dredd review. Come on, get it. So yeah, basically that's basically what made me like what made me like comics, and the reason I really like comics because it's sort of like the perfect medium for like if you want to express yourself like yeah, you can actually sew more than what you actually can do fully do like sew don't tell in a comic form than you could do in like say a book. And the funny thing is that I believe I have this here. I believe I have yeah this comic it also shows like the process of giving it well like so like you can't like write like good for like a comic but like here for like for comics you actually do a script so like you're a move so like in a movie and basically that's basically it's how making a comic works. You script it out, you then somebody sketches it, then you ink it, and then somebody adds the color, and finally does the lettering. And that's how you make a completed comic. That's basically whole how comics are, and that's also what made me like them. They're like movies and like they're like a true movie and book form. And the speaking of movies, like I may have said this before, but The Crow is a comic I own, and like and those Spawn. So there's obviously superhero like comics and stuff. There's I have Iron Man, I have Spawn, I have Judge Dredd, I have Sin City. All those comics. But I also have like a bunch of other like comics of like movies you may not have known were actually original comics. Like I said before, I have The Crow, which probably the Crow. There's also Hellboy. There's I'm pretty sure Tales from the Crypts is also one type of comic. There's like I have like a bunch of different like comics here that I believe have been adapted adapted, and that's also like what makes it really cool because like what a lot of people may not know is that a bunch of like movie adaptations were like well, obviously some are inspired by novels, but a lot of them are like from comics. Like did you know that the original Man in Black, like that's the original from with Will Smith? That one's actually a comic originally, and no, I don't mean it like as in like it's a not like oh, it's just like a I don't know, it's a comic that happened to be about the Man in Black that inspired that movie. No, it's a direct adaptation of that like Man in Black comic. It's a pretty fun fact that I learned, and it's another fun fact I'll pass off to you. So yeah. Basically, another reason I also so like comics is like a lot of different art styles. It's also why I prefer like comics over manga because because I did read some manga online, but yeah, a lot of it just ended up looking the same to me. So there are some cooler cooler looking ones, especially the two mangas I own are both of two manga I own of of Junji Ito because well, obviously you got it. If you go buy if you're a horror fan, you're definitely gonna own some like Junji Ito stuff, and like one of them is the Spawn one. Yeah, the Spawn one. In case you're wondering, the other Junji Ito manga I own is of Gyo, the Tokyo Fist one, which also has the yeah this one. Yeah, which also has the little what was it? It's a famous story called I forgot the name, but it's the famous story with the holes in the mountain, with the human shaped holes in the mountain. Those ones. Yeah, those ones. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that's all. Sort of like what makes me like comics more than manga. So a lot of people are starting to like manga more, but me personally, it's just I don't know. It's just I saw it have more sentimental value towards comics because people get to express themselves more through both writing and art. And also like probably helps other people too because like so you may be good at art, but you may not be good at like writing. Then maybe you may not be as good as like writing, but like you can practice those two at basically at the same time. If you want to do it. Yeah, but I guess the another problem could be like paneling and stuff. And also the whole wording thing. I believe that's what they're called. The people who put the speech boxes in the comic themselves. I believe that's what they're called. And so yeah, there's also helps see people like express themselves. And then another cool thing is that there are like hundreds, and I mean there are hundreds of them. Like I swear, like every time I see comics on YouTube, there are like various like new ones I haven't heard of before. Like there's this one like I'm watching is this guy like he's recapping this series about he's recapping this series which is called 68, which is basically about like an alternate version of the Vietnam War where Romero like zombies start to take over. I really want to get a comic of that. Yeah, there's those. Oh yeah, there's also the Massiverse. Like I've heard about those from Comic Jake. There's also the Pedestrian. Yeah, like there are hundreds of comics that exist there that don't need previous they don't need some previous mentions like they're there, and if you want them you can like go ahead and read them right now. Just go ahead and like buy a book, maybe look at some swords, then just just go ahead and read them because they're pretty good comics. A lot of them pretty good. Granted, like as I said before, I don't really read comics online. I prefer them physically, and that's even if that means I have to read the same comics, I have to comics before I get it. And so comics do get expensive. Like I said, this yeah, despite this being the same one cost as like the Judge Dredd one, it only got like this many pages. Yeah, and that's also why I stick to the much bigger graphic novels. So they're bigger, sort of bigger, but you got more pages, and it does have a good excuse to be more expensive. Then you have to wait on a sale because it's a big boy. Especially if it's an omnibus. And speaking of that, speaking of that, speaking of that, I believe that's all. I said all of I like comics. So oh yeah, and also because the art can be pretty cool, sometimes, because and also because me personally, I try to like read regular books, I try to read regular books, just words on the paper, I try doing that, but trust me, for the life of me, I can never do that. I will always get so fun fact, I'm autistic, but sometimes I believe I also have ADHD, or I was misdiagnosed and I have ADHD because for the life of me, every time I try to read something, I always end up reading with my eyes instead of my mind. like so I do get like information out, but like it could be a struggle for me to read. But that's why I like comics. They can give off a good story or like a pretty awesome story, but like pretty like a good or like a they give off like create like a good or like what you might call it a or an entertaining story, and it's not that hard to follow it, and I especially like to like read it in the background with like some files. Well, like with music, well, it's like if I listen to music while reading, like I get lost in tracks. So yeah, yeah, that's also another reason. And yeah, basically, I just kind of like waffle more about comics. I kind of want to read like honestly this one that's happening right now. It's called the Murder Drones comic. It's like on Kickstarter right now. The comic is the graphic novel isn't out yet, and yeah, yeah, that's what I really want to I want to read because like so even if I have to wait for like next year because that's when they're going to release it regularly into physical stores. Like even if I have to wait for like next year because like people are probably going to like put it online for free to read. But like me personally, I want to get that shit for I want to get that shit for myself on myself. Okay, I don't have any self. I want that shit for myself on my box. I think piece of use. I know y'all can't see it. my bad. My bad. I tried to. So I have this little like box that's about this. It's called Helverine, and that's where I put some of my comics in. But yeah, that's one comic. I obviously don't. There's the '68 one, which I look pretty cool because I sort of like to dabble into history here and then because like I don't know I find history pretty interesting. Especially from wars and stuff. All that. Yeah, there's also probably some other like comics that I'll probably find that I'll end up wanting like getting because like I also kind of want to try and draw more because I'm using up some of my draw time I could be drawing right now to make this video. But yeah, yeah, and like also like what call it oh yeah, yeah, and also some of these also a lot of these art styles inspire me to draw, especially Todd McFarlane. He's like my biggest inspiration at the moment. Yeah, and like yeah, 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 these that comics they just really inspire me to like just to like really want to try and writing and reading. And also another thing about comics that you don't have to be both the artist and the writer. You can actually be a writer for comics. Like you don't have to be an artist. Like Alan Moore, like he's like one of the most popular writers in comics. Like he's one of the most popular writers in comics, and that I don't remember, and I don't believe he can. I don't believe he draws like any anytime. He just writes for comics, which is another interesting for comics. You don't like when you think of oh you want to get into comics, like you have to be like a both writer. You have to be a writer and an artist, but no, you can actually be a writer for comics. Like I said, it's a script. You write it down like a movie. All that. So yeah, like yeah, apologies for this wildly inconsiderate, but yeah, like some comics I kind of want to get is like the Murder Drones one, and so the Kickstarter is happening right now. Well, like the Kickstarter is happening, right now. Well, like I could get some like goodies and stuff, but I probably might try live streaming a bit maybe in the future because maybe get more audience, get some money to like so I can pay for that like little like Kickstarter thingy so I can get some like bonus goodies. Granted, I ain't gonna get like anything above like if that plays is like in the triple like dollars, I probably ain't gonna get that one. Yeah, no one chief like well, probably maybe who the hell knows if I make any money from YouTube. So yeah, there's that one. Obviously, the '68 comics, but I kind of want to get because I said before I like history and like also especially alternate history and like what makes it interesting is it's this alternate history is about Vietnam. It isn't about like the Nazis. It isn't about the Soviet Union, the Cold War. Like it's about the. I mean, sorry, like Vietnam was the Vietnam War was like a direct result of the Cold War, but like it this is about like the whatchamacallit, the this is about like Vietnam itself and like zombies. The specifically the Romero kind, the slow ones, not the fast ones like from you saw from 28 days later or from the 28 days later. So they're not zombies, but they influence zombies. But yeah, not those ones, but the like the what's more like but like the slow like George A. Romero types. All that. Yeah, yeah, and I find that comic pretty cool. Like, and yeah, there's probably some other comics I kind of want to read, but like, I forgot like, forgot what their names are. But yeah, that's basically my, that would be like, I guess that could like, concludes my inconsistent waffling about why I like comics. They're really good. Like they're not that hard to get into, especially if you get like graphic novels. Like, it's like I said before, they're more expensive, but it's more bang for your buck. And yeah, oh yeah, like speaking of more bang for buck, like one thing I really want to get is like an omnibus. Those really big old books. Those ones. Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I want to get, but they're like they probably mostly the most expensive. So like, I do own an omnibus myself. The Hellboy one. Like this one's $33, and so there's some other omnibuses I saw that it's only like $30. But like those ones are like very like those ones can be quite and I mean quite expensive, you know, like some of them like some of them are like aliens. I saw someone which is like an omnibus about Avengers versus X-Men. Like that one I kind of want to get in. Oh yeah, like before I forget, I was I mainly want to read like mostly Marvel comics, because so like because like so like DC, like they have Batman, Superman, they have all those, but I don't know, it's just is there something about like the more obscure Marvel characters feel like more like interesting than like the most obscure like DC characters. Like so DC do have like so like and I don't know, I just find them more like interest characters that are interesting because I guess you could do more with them, and I guess you can do like more with them despite the limitations. Like I find like DC as like Legos. Well, like so like you can do like whatever you want, whatever you can do whatever you want with whenever you want with the sets you buy, the different like building blocks. But let's be real, like when people think of like DC, like when they automatically think like their superheroes and their traits, just like how people like when they think of Legos, they think of them like building like what the box shows, following the instructions. All those, yeah. Well, for Marvel, they're more like a Play-Doh, like a Play-Doh, like well, like colored clay. Well, basically, so like each character, they're just one thing. They're like Daredevil's a blind, like Daredevil's like a blind lawyer, Spider-Man's, Spider-Man. Wolverine is a guy with claws and claws and a metal skeleton, and Hulk is a guy who turned Hulk. Nope, this guy. He's a he's a guy who turns into a big monster, big green monster when angry. But I guess there are simplicities you can do a lot. Like you can obviously do the regular stuff you do with Play-Doh. Like just write the characters, how they are, like how the personalities are in the comics. Just so like how you like roll Play-Doh into a ball, you can roll it into like a little like string thingy, and like a just just all that stuff. Well, have a like I guess more creatively, I guess you can mold it into different things. Like you can use like some red Play-Doh as like a as like a as like a indication of like a wounded arm or like a blood or something, for more edgy stuff. Or I guess you can like the more edgier stories. Well, for I guess you can use other types of clay to like sort of mold it into like people. You can mold it into like other creatures. I just find them like more interesting because because like so at the surface they're simple, but like given the writer, like given the best writer, like given the best concept, they can be pretty interesting. So yeah, those are kind of why I prefer like Marvel over DC, and that's also because I watch a lot like the MCU a lot. And yeah, I believe now that was everything I had to say about why I like comics. They're pretty interesting. I recommend you get them. I recommend get them. Some of them can be like pretty cheap. Like there are these like some of them can be pretty cheap or cheap. Like yeah. Yeah, and like that's basically all I recommend about comics. There's a lot of comics I own. There's a couple of comics I own, oh yeah, yeah, and like, also some of this can be adaptations, like comic adaptations. Like I heard apparently there's this there's these comics a band I like called Iceland Kills. They also like release some of those. Like I kind of want to get those, but they're probably like being sold by scalpers, so it's probably an online read. And yeah, there's also like adaptations like scheme of like old books and stuff, and yeah. And before, like, I guess if I waffle on anymore, like that would be all. Like if I why I like comics, just like, comment, subscribe, and okay, yeah, good. Bye bye now.